Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen. As we continue our show today, we're going to take a look at metastatic breast cancer. Our guest is Sharon Schlesinger. She is a volunteer with the Susan G. Komen Foundation in Los Angeles. And I think you're in charge of the metastatic breast cancer conference that's coming up. It's the 6th annual one in mid-November. Am I correct?
You're exactly right. I founded the MBC Committee of Los Angeles County 7 years ago. And ever since, we've been putting on annual conferences and some seminars in the middle of the year directed to helping metastatic breast cancer patients. Actually, they don't like to be called patients, even though they're in treatment for the rest of their lives, from moment of diagnosis for the rest of their lives. They will be in treatment, and sometimes that's a pretty arduous journey. But what they like to be called is someone that's living with breast cancer.
Gotcha. And metastatic means spread.
It means it's spread. It means it's spread to other vital organs or your bones, but it's still breast cancer and must be treated as breast cancer. It complicates things a bit when you learn that there are many different kinds of breast cancer. And every individual that has breast cancer is different. So the direction to individual focused treatment has been a good one. It has improved the span of life and the quality of life for many women. However, the average time from diagnosis to the woman passing is less than 3 years.
Oh my!
That's the average.
We should back up and get a little bit of Sharon history. You yourself are a cancer survivor.
Yes, and I am blessed because even though I had it many, many years ago, I never had a recurrence, and that is kind of rare because the percentage of early breast cancer survivors that have a recurrence that is metastatic is higher than most people know. It's about 30%.
Oh my!
Yes, and the diagnosis of metastatic breast cancer is devastating to a woman because she thinks immediately she's going to die. Well, it's not necessarily the case. There are many examples of women surviving and thriving with metastatic breast cancer for years and years. I know people that have had metastatic breast cancer for over 20 years, and they're still perking along.
Yeah, I like the word perking along. Sharon, when you were diagnosed, and give us a ballpark figure of how long ago that might have been.
1987.
Oh my, 30 years.
That's
31.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. And I was diagnosed with two kinds of cancers at the same moment, virtually. And at that time, that was really before Susan G. Komen had burst onto the national scene, and there was no internet. And at that time, people did not really talk about breast cancer. So it was a very lonely time. And when I went through that, I thought, well, there's got to be some more help that's available in an easy-to-access way. When I came to California, I found Susan G. Komen out here, the L.A. County affiliate, and I've been a volunteer ever since. And I call myself a career volunteer because it's like a job. I mean, it's a full-time
your name has
occupation.
come up to me at least 4 dozen times since we've been a media sponsor for the last 4 or 5 years here at Late Night Health of the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And to me, the biggest benefit of the foundation is the fact that you encourage early detection. That's that's why I'm here. I mean, there are alternative treatments, there are alternative ways of detecting, but the fact that you're bringing it to the attention of the public, to me, is the most important part of what the Susan G. Komen Foundation in L.A. County with Mark Pylon and all of the others, that's the most important, and of course throughout the country as well. When you were diagnosed in 1987 and your doctor said, Sharon, you have the big C, what went through your head?
I thought I would die. Very frankly, that, and I would imagine that most women, when they hear that, think that's a death sentence. They're going to die. Well, it's true, 40,000 of them die every year in this country, but most of them do not. However, they're faced with the uncertainty of what is going to happen next, and what is it going to be like to have surgery, and maybe reconstructive surgery, and radiation, and chemotherapy, and will my hair fall out? Yes, probably. And
there are those new caps. There are those new caps that they're using now too.
They're cooling caps. It's true. It's true. But so many of these things are, there are many changes in technology. There are many additional new drugs on the market. There is definitely progress being made, but it is slow. It's an agonizingly slow process. I have another project I work on with a researcher at USC, where she's looking to develop a marker to identify the possibility of recurrence through a blood test, and that would be wonderful. It'd
be absolutely tremendous. We should say, again, that our guest is Sharon Schlesinger. She is a volunteer with the Susan G. Komen Foundation in Los Angeles, has been doing that since she hit Los Angeles about 7 years ago, and she herself is a survivor. What would you do differently, knowing what you know, as compared to what you did? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I don't know that I would have done anything differently. Information was not as readily available. I bless the Internet. I'm a writer, so I use it all the time to find out answers to questions that I have, whether it be about breast cancer or anything. The Internet is wonderful. And there was no such thing then. It was pretty, archaic time in our lives. I mean, I don't think any of us can even imagine what it was like without it. But would I have done something differently? No. I was pretty regular with tests and mammograms, and I watched my health, and I led a pretty healthy lifestyle, and that can help you, but it's not
100%.
It's going to make a difference. You still may get breast cancer.
Sharon, metastatic breast cancer seems to me to be spreading. In other words, there's more of it than there used to be. And spreading was used intentionally.
Yes, I get it. I don't know if that's true, Mark.
Maybe we're just talking about it more?
Well, the number of people that die of breast cancer, the sheer number doesn't change from one year to the next. But our population is growing. So therefore, the percentage of people dying is less. But still, 40,000 people dying is way, way too many.
And it's not a easy way to go.
It's not an easy way to go, and something that we don't talk about too often is the role that the woman plays in the family and as the mother of children, and sometimes very small children. The impact that it has within a family is devastating.
What about in your case, in your family? Were you married? Did you have kids at the time?
I was married. I had grown kids or semi-grown kids. I worked in Wall Street. I had a high-level job there, and it wasn't something that I could talk about to any of my colleagues. And I didn't want my children to worry because most of them were living out here in California, and I was in New York. And so I downplayed it. And
You did this all by yourself?
Well, I have a dear husband who's a wonderful support, but even so, someone who's diagnosed with breast cancer feels alone no matter if there's crowds around her. It's the loneliest place in the world to be.
I can not begin to imagine. Coming up in November, there is a symposium, is what I'll call it.
That's fine. You can call it that. You can call it a conference. You can call it a wonderful day where 200 women living with breast cancer are going to come free with their support giver or close friend free to the City of Hope in Duarte, which is a lovely, lovely place to have a conference. It's easy access.
I was actually near Duarte a couple of days ago. Sharon and I live in Ventura County. It's a schlep.
It's everything, no matter where you go. In LA County, it's a schlep.
It is a schlep all the way to the City of Hope. And how do people? We have plenty of time. I want to give the information. How do people participate if they want to?
They can register. There's an invitation on Eventbrite. You can go to the Susan G. Komen LA County website or Facebook account. It'll direct you to the link to the Eventbrite page. There's flyers that are being posted all around town, but if there's any kind of an issue, I don't want to give my phone number out over the air.
No.
But I do get phone calls from people all the time, and I help them register.
What you can do is you can go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation in website in Los Angeles and give us that again, please.
It's Susan G. Komen, LA County. And that's all you have to plug into Google, and it'll come up with the Facebook account as well as the website. And on either site, you will find how to access the invitation to register. It's very easy to register. Just need your email address, and you select the category, whether you're a metastatic breast cancer patient, I use that word, I shouldn't, and or a support member, and then that's all that it takes. And I have to tell you, this conference, after doing 5 others, this sixth annual conference, I think is the best ever. The theme of it is collaboration, and it breaks down to 3 pillars.
What we're going to do is we're going to talk about that when we come back. We still have a little over a minute to talk, but I wanted to get into that. I mean, some of the people that you've got, you've got people from USC and UCLA. I mean, that in itself is amazing. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. You have somebody from a Chinese Yosan University of Chinese Medicine for an alternative look at breast cancer, oncology, therapeutics, all kinds of different things. Again, go to just Google Susan G. Komen, LA County, to find out more about this free event coming up in November 17th at the City of Hope. All right, we're going to take some time out. I'm going to turn the show back over to the insane Daryl Wayne. He's going to do whatever it is that he does. It's all magic to me. And then we will be back with our guest, Sharon Schlesinger from the Susan G. Komen Foundation. I'm Mark Allen. Join us at LateNightHealth.com. LateNightHealth.com. I know Sharon's going to do that. We'll be back. Don't go away.
The stigma around mental health disorders and suicide is still very strong in our culture. It's an uncomfortable topic for many of us, and yet it's something we can't afford to ignore, according to Dan Shuck, the author of A Glass Half Empty or Half Full, a children's book for grown-ups. Last month, the CDC released a study that reports suicide rates went up more than 30% in half the states since 1999. A Glass Half Empty or Half Full, a children's book for grown-ups, takes a new approach to addressing mental illness. The book playfully explores pessimism versus optimism to find balance, manage stress, and enjoy life. The book uses humor to provide an opportunity to determine the fullness of our own glass and how to apply it to our daily lives. Donations from the proceeds of the book will be made to a Glass Half Question fundraising campaign for the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. A Glass Half Empty or Half Full, a children's book for grown-ups, is available from Amazon.com, Kindle, and Barnes & Noble. For more information, visit www.glasshalfquestion.com.